So Galileo was put in prison because he was the first one to say that Earth is moving around the sun. So he was kept silent, and he was going to be silent in order to get out of prison. And when he got out of prison, he said, and yet it moves. So that, there's a sort of metaphor for actually saying what you need to say, despite other people trying to stop you to say it. And this is what happened to us at St. Peter's. So there were many months, couple of years, 6 months ago, that we were told not to be talking too much to the parents because we were given notice that our service was closed. We were given notice twice, in fact, which resulted in a limbo to the extent that we couldn't recruit any professionals. With the latest notice, we were not meant to say anything to any of our patients or families. And of course, it began to leak through that we are likely to close, and we were still not meant to be saying anything because nothing was known. Sadly, nothing is still known. So I think the important thing is to say that the whole change in Surrey was done out of good intentions. I think a bit like here, the road to harm is filled with good intention. People haven't started out to destroy the services. They wanted best services they can possibly have. But what they've done, and I do have to say that in my mind, commissioners do have responsibility here. What they've done in their effort to provide holistic service, they thought that CAMS would be in best position to do so. The problem is ADHD is so common. We have 2,000 patients, but that is less than 50% of what we should be having. With 5% of all children and more of them needing to be assessed, ADHD is only asthma is more common in pediatric practice. So, for example, autism is 1%. Asthma maybe 6 or 7%. As you know, most children with ADHD have to be under hospital services in order to continue prescribing medication. So it's been great underestimation, and I think this is happening everywhere. As the awareness of ADHD is rising, and we've just talked about how it's rising even when it comes to, you mentioned people who need to fill in forms for the PIP. You said that apart from autism and Down syndrome, ADHD is listed as one of the conditions that people may need help with in order to fill the form. So the awareness is there. We have raised awareness with talking to the GPs, talking to schools. Our parents have become more aware, and yet the services haven't kept up with this need. What we also did is, I'm very proud of the fact that we actually diagnosed children much earlier than the national average. Our average was 8 years of age. National average is 12 years of age. So the child has to spend 5, 6 years at school, on, across the UK, and presumably a lot of them would have poor self-esteem and lots of issues within educational setting before they're actually diagnosed with ADHD. So I don't know what the solution is, but what we wanted to have is a joint clinic, and best services in the country do have joint clinics where paediatricians and CAMS specialists work together, and I think that's a good model because we all have our strengths as professionals, and of course there is a very important role for the ADHD nurses as well. And this is what was going to be like. It's just it was a last-minute change of emphasis. And as far as I know, there are no services defined yet for 2,000 children who are in our clinics, and we're meant to close July or August. Now we have got lots of children on medication that GPs are not going to prescribe, so it is incredible the way that this has been handled. And we as a team still want to work in the field, but politically we seem to be in the wrong place, so I don't know what's going to happen really. So at this point in time, I feel it's important to know, because it's less than a month. For me, I'm believing in less than a month, so I will not have opportunity to say it. And the families might not have service in 2 months, maybe 3 months maximum. It is up to families now. I think the commissioners did attempt to try and gather the sort of opinions from parents when they first started looking into this. But I'm not quite sure if the parents understood what was going to happen, and I don't think anybody understood really. But the problem is, we have raised expectations so much, and we have been doing, we have been providing this service. It just seems to be so difficult for anybody else to pick it up. And we could have done better. We should have had more investment into service, but the last 3 or 4 years we were in limbo, so the hospital would not invest in us. I have to say the hospital has supported us in any way they could. We were just talking a minute ago. For example, we have invested in QB test recently. I don't know if you know about QB test. So it's the first interactive test with a child. So if you have a situation where a school does not want to report or does not see the symptoms, but you see the symptoms, we can now do an interactive test, which is computer-based technology, with a child. It's the first time they have an independent test where we can measure the concentration, impulsivity and hyperactive behaviour. So we have been at the forefront at bringing in evidence-based treatment and assessment to our clinics. I would say you either give us the service together with CAMS so that you can work together, or we can't carry on because people are going to be leaving. Nobody who's in the middle of their career will want to stay in a service that's likely to close. But certainly make every effort to influence commissioners, because they are meant to listen to you. There is another way you can do it. There is Care Quality Commission, and they are the people that inspect commissioners, because they are not above, any scrutiny either. So they should be subject to inspection as well, from what I understand. So you can always contact them, and then you have other democratic means of doing things. Of course, you have your MPs and so on. So I do recommend that the only people, the professionals, are not going to be listened to as much as the families.